Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. Because today I am going to be doing a review of John Sable Freelance, Volume 1. It is put out by Comics Mix, and it is written by Mike Grell. Mike Grell, for those of you who don't know, wrote the seminal or really famous run of Green Arrow with the miniseries Green Arrow Longbow Hunter, and then a really big run. And if you look right there, that's the omnibus, 2-book omnibus of his run, where they brought Green Arrow into the real world in Seattle, where he used real arrows and solved street level crime and all that. So what we have here, this is a character that he created in the 80s, where we have John Sable. He is kind of a mercenary type of guy who you hire to do whatever. He'll be your bodyguard. He'll take people out. He'll do whatever, but he's very, very, very expensive because he's very good. And this is I keep saying very. He is a really interesting character because it's not, it's not Cape and Cowl superhero type stuff. But what we have is, when you're introduced to him, you get the origin story. He was, the original part of his origin is he was an Olympian. He did fencing and a few other things, and he was in the 1972 Olympics in Munich. And for those of you who know about such things in history, that is when there was a huge attack on the Jewish Olympic team, and a lot of them taken hostage and killed. It was a huge controversy and all that stuff. But that is where he met a fellow Olympian from South Africa. Fell in love with her, got married, had a couple of kids. They moved to Africa, had kids, and he became like a guide down there for people who wanted to go on safaris and stuff like that. And he was very good at it, and he started going after people who were poachers. There's a huge poaching problem, which got him in trouble with the bad guys, and they wound up killing his wife, older, and kids. And so that made him this really cold-hearted person who wound up, doing the life that he does. And one of the cool things is he, as a side gig, and he came across this really by accident. He is a child's book author, sort of like the next Dr. Seuss, because what had happened was he would tell his kids these stories. He created this little land of all these, dwarves and fairies and all that stuff, and use that to tell his kids that. And somehow there's a woman who found out about it that she was an editor, and she convinced him to try and start writing these books, and then got them published. And so he started got an offer to write these books. So he has to do it under a pen name because the name John Sable is known as this guy, and he really doesn't, hide his face, right? So on one thing, he's this kind of a killer, bounty hunter type person, and in another thing, he dresses up and sort of puts on a wig and fake beard, looks a little bit like Oliver Queen, to be when he has to make appearances as the author. And you find out a little more about his past. He's kind of got a death wish, and he just, doesn't do anything for free, and he takes on these really dangerous missions because he really doesn't care if he lives or dies, because after what happened to his family. And Mike Grell he puts a lot of his stories, like he did with Green Arrow in his run, in the real world. Maybe not so much like he did with more crime stuff like he did with Green Arrow, but he'll go after someone stole some jewels, and so they want him to try and find out who got the jewels, who were stole the jewels, or protect them from being stolen. He has to, do this and do that, and so it deals with his interactions on that side, and also the interaction of him with his editor and his artist who does the artwork. And so there's this really kind of interesting dynamic of his two different lives and how he balances it out, tries to balance it out, and how the two people in his life deal with it, because they know what he does for a living on his other thing. And so it has this nice, well, not nice, but it has this weird balance where he's just like, "Up, gotta go," takes a kind of a mission for something, and winds up having to stop terrorists from blowing up the East Coast. And he is very kind of succinct in his storytelling. In the sense that, like some of these stories, there's a lot of extra stuff that goes on in there, or it takes, they show like every step on things. With him, he's just like, it is, they get the setup, and then it'll jump to where he's at the place, and then there's another, tiny little thing where the next action is going on, and you're missing some little pieces of what's going on, but you get the whole story, right? And there's not any like extraneous stuff, and he's not like he's trying to stretch it out. He's just like boom, 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 get it done. And each story is usually only 1 or 2 issues long. There's only one story that's 3, and that's his origin, which is a few issues in. But So it's just like, one, 1, 2, bump. Next one, 1, 2, bump. 1, 2, 3, bump, bump, bump. 1, 1, 2, and it's got a good, really tempo to the story. He has this. He does the artwork himself. Okay, so like right here, this is something I guess. There's Operation First Strike. That is, his editor had gotten a hold of that, and that explains his history and everything. That's how you get his backstory and how they know. But if you look at the art, this is, Mike Will not only does wonderful storytelling, he does great art. Now here is the blonde with the glasses here. That is his guise as the childhood writer. So you can sort of see that he looks maybe a bit like Oliver Queen. And this is what he looks like out of the guise, under what he normally looks like. So he does, his art is really nice and crisp and well done. The stories are taut and concise and to the point and very entertaining. So when I remember back in the day seeing these in floppies, and I had no interest in it because I was just starting out, and I was only interested in, like the big ones from the big two, and I regret not getting them. But this is some very good stuff. This is a $49.95 for the first one. It's 450 pages, and then it has a cover gallery in the back. And unlike most omnibuses, this is not a larger size. If you look at a normal comic, this is a normal comic right here behind it. So it is a little smaller than a normal comic book size, but it is still, nice and easy to see and read, and it has nice sturdy paper and easy to handle. So I am giving this a 5 out of 5 and just say pick it up. It's a great book if you're interested in stuff like this. It's sort of like more of a James Bond action adventure type thing than a superhero stuff, and like I said, very well done. So if you liked his Longbow Hunter and his Green Arrow run, you'll enjoy this. So let me know in the comments below if you not watched it, but if you read it and what you thought of it. And like, subscribe, possibly share, and most of all, enjoy your comics.